Hello, I am Fatima Razana. This is my JavaScript ES6 course, final exam and final project. In this final exam, there are two parts. Part 1 is to contribute for an open source project, and part 2 is to provide answers for questions in a tech forum. For the part 1, I've selected validator.js project. Validator.js is a library of string validators and sanitizers. I have provided a new validator to test base32 encoding. Is base32 is the functionality that I have added to this project. And so here is the is base32 functionality. Base32 encoding uses A to Z uppercase letters and digits 2 to 7 and adds a padding character equal sign to get a multiple of 8 characters. So here is the regex expression to test the string, and function is base 32 takes a string. First calculate the length of the string. Base 32 encoding uses A to Z and 2 to 7. Base 32 encoding uses A to Z uppercase and 2 to 7 digits and adds a padding character of equal sign to get a multiple of 8 characters. So this is the regex expression to test for string. Function is base 32 takes a string. First get the string length. Length should be greater than 0 and it should equal to the multiple of 8 characters. Because base 32 encoding also uh, because base 32 encoding always be a length that is multiple of 8 characters. Then test the string for base 32 regex. If all three conditions true, return true, otherwise return false. This is the functionality for is base 32, and I have added test cases for is base 32 functionality. So test specification should validate base 32 strings. Functionality is base 32 and these are the valid test cases and invalid test cases. And finally, we have to run npm test to make sure the test passed the functionality. And I have updated the documentation. Here I've added is base I have added is base 32 function, and this is the and I have added is base 32 function documentation for is base 32, and I have added documentation for is base 32 function. So this is the documentation, and I've created the pull request for the main repository. So this is the pull request, and it has all three commits, feature, test, and the documentation. That's the part one of this exam. The final part of this exam is to share some knowledge by providing answers for a tech forum questions. So I've selected tech forum Stack Overflow. These are the 10 questions that I have answered. Let's walk through one by one. So, how to convert JSON dates to calendar format. So here's the question where date is given with this format. We have to convert to this given format. So my answer is so we can use we can s- so here take the date, split the date with the so first question, how to convert JSON dates to calendar format. So the question is convert the given date format to another format. My answer, take the date, split with uh, slash and join with hyphen and use array map to transform into a new array. So you can get the given date format to another format. Second question, second question, syntax error. The solution is inside class to call other methods, we have to use this keyword. So this keyword to reference methods or properties inside class. Third question, filtering data. How to filter data to get a given output. So my answer, so use the array filter method to filter array of objects. So this is the answer. Next, next question, how to remove fruit value from my text area. Here there's a function where you need to remove some data. The answer is to provide the answer is to use array method index of and get the result. Next question, how to create dynamic dictionary and add remove key values. So in this question there's a key value pair where you need to get the so uh, we need we need to add key value pairs dynamically. The answer is use map function. Map object has functions to set keys and values dynamically using set function in ES6. So create a new map object and set key and values dynamically. Next question, how to merge different JSON objects using JavaScript. So So here also we can use map function to reformat the existing array of objects to a new array with newly reformatted objects. This is my answer. How to check JSON property dynamically? So my answer is okay. Use object has own property to check for an object key and returns use object has property to check for an object key and it returns a boolean result. So this is my answer. Next question, how to pass data between nested fetch function. So this question you have to retrieve the first URL data, fetch that first request and pass that data to the second request. So the answer for fetch the first response and return that response to the answer is fetch the first uh, API request and get the response and return that response to the next fetch. So here we have used chain promises. Why did toString split give me a variable that holds three mini arrays that each have a length property of 1? So the answer for this question, so you can use the array map function to transform the given value into single array, then use reduce function to calculate the total. Last question, cannot access object method in JavaScript. So the answer, I have provided another way of accessing the functionality. So here we can use class method, class user to get the values. Here class user accepts a class user has a constructor which accepts UID and PWD as parameters. These are the properties of that class. Display all is the method and this is a new object and display all. It will output the values of UID and PWD properties. The class object. So class, there's a constructor with UID and PWD property. Display all is the method which prints the output UID and PWD. New user with the given UID and PWD and it display the values of the class object properties, values of the object properties. So these are the 10 questions that I have answered in a tech forum. That's the end of my final exam JavaScript ES6 course. Thank you for watching this video.